Happy Wednesday. It's a good day to grow. So here is your personal development topic of the day. Today we take on a very, very rare word, a word that I rarely hear uttered by anybody. Have I mentioned it's rare? I think in the last 2 or 3 years, the word I'm about to share with you, the topic I'm about to share with you, the personal development concept I'm about to share with you went out the window somewhere. I don't know where it landed. I don't know why it went out the window, but it certainly does not seem as prevalent as one would hope in a modern society. And today's personal development topic is graciousness. To be gracious and to act in a state of graciousness towards others. Oh my gosh, does that happen anymore? I mean, where I'm from, you were kind of brought up that way, and maybe some of you can relate. Some people have no idea what I'm talking about. So I thought I'd share today 4 ideas around this topic of being the gracious person, living in a state of graciousness, and talk about what that means in a modern society where there's so much hate online, where there's so many snap judgments that we've all been conditioned and trained to have to, I really believe, our own and society's detriment. So let's start with this. First big idea. To be gracious means to be polite and courteous, to do the kind thing. Now, those are all kind of different, right? Politeness is a little different than courteousness, is a little different than kindness. But you get the vibe when I say those 3 things: polite, courteous, and kind. To me, that rolls up into the definition of what I would call graciousness in human interaction. You're polite with people, meaning you have manners, meaning you listen, meaning you let them speak, meaning you don't throw your water at them when you're mad about something, meaning you don't attack them when you don't know anything about them. You're courteous, where you're thoughtful about what they need. You're okay to hold a door open or to help someone with their package or to help someone cross the street. You're someone who will do the kind thing. Someone's in need. You'll call help, You're thoughtful about the conditions of others. If you listen to Daily Fire before, you'll recognize a theme here in personal development. And that theme is that we begin with the intention of other people having good experiences and good lives, that other people deserve fairness, respect, compassion, kindness, politeness, that you don't just haul off and scream at somebody or smack somebody, because that's not polite, right? That somehow in the social media world, we've lost that. And very few people quite understand why that's happened. So real quick aside, when you're on social media, most people are for on average well over an hour a day now. What they don't realize is all those scrolling and all those swipes, several things are happening in your brain. From a neuroscientific perspective, what's happening is first, your mind is determining as you're scrolling through what to pay attention to. Is what I'm paying attention to worth another second, another nanosecond? Then if it's worth paying attention to, if I see it, now my first impulse, we've been trained millions of times to like it or deem it worthy of a like or dislike, or deem it worthy of like, dislike, and or a comment. Now, deem it worthy of its like, dislike, comment, and or share. Now, like it, dislike it, comment it, share it, and or copy it, or use it for inspiration. Think about how many judgments happened in that second you saw that post. Well, if you scroll through, let's imagine 10 posts, you made all of those 5 decisions. You've made 50 judgments in just a few posts. Now, you've done that for what, on average, a scroll session goes back about 40 scrolls. Now you're talking about making thousands of judgments, snap decisions every day. This is where people lost their politeness, their courteousness, and their kindness. When you are over-programmed for speedy judgment, trouble always brews. Because the more you are behaviorally conditioned for speedy judgment, the less likely you are to consider cultural norms, to consider the other person's point of view, to consider whether or not you really need to voice your opinion or participate or engage. Beware social media making you a jerk. Number 2, to be gracious, we must seek to understand the other's point of view. Graciousness in this way requires patience. We have to have a beat, a second where we think, okay, what are they going through? What do they desire? What are their needs? Why did they come to this perspective? What's going on? This old idea of walking in other person's shoes is to step into their world a little bit. And once you're in their world a little bit, you realize that everyone's got a story and everyone's struggle is deeper and longer and more difficult than we ever imagined, even if it looks like they got everything handed to them. So often we fail to understand everyone walks a rocky road. When you realize other people walk a rocky road, you are more likely to seek to understand what's going on for them before those snap judgments. And now, when they get something wrong, when something is something you don't like or you judge not worthy or not good, you can take a minute to try to understand where they're coming from. In this way, graciousness is patience and perspective taking at the same time. Number 3, learn to give the benefit of the doubt. Give the benefit of doubt. What does this mean? It means when someone does something, have your mind conditioned to assuming not that they're awful, not that the world is unfair, not that they're attacking you, but the benefit of doubt means there must be a reason they're doing this. And get curious about it. This is why you study personal development, right? To gain self-awareness about your own psychology and your own capabilities. Well, turn that on its head a little bit and understand for others, our job is also to inquire and think about, I wonder, what is going on in their psychology that would make them do that? What's going on in their life that would make them say that, believe that, take that action? Giving them the benefit of doubt assumes and allows you to say, there must be a good intention somewhere here. They're probably doing this because there is a payoff for them somewhere. They might not realize what they're doing is hurting others. Maybe they're doing it in a self-protective way because something happened in their past, something's happening in their house right now, something's going on at work. Giving the benefit of doubt delays that judgment time where you're quick to be angry, quick to be a jerk, quick to judge, quick to treat somebody impolitely. Now, I know at this point, everyone always jumps on, some kind of, pseudo-conscious train where they're like, no. Politeness is just a social construct and we shouldn't live within it. I'm like, yeah, sounds good. And then that's the same person who screams and hollers and gets road rage when someone accidentally cuts into another lane. The reality is we all need to take a breather right now. Society and culture is at like a heightened fire alarm number 10. And it's really sad to see. And it happens because people aren't leading and operating from a place of graciousness. Anyone might have their reasons for thinking through this and why it happens. I happen to think it has to do a lot with a failure of education with our youth. We don't teach emotional or social intelligence at any depth in any level of grade school, elementary school, high school, rarely in college, but one topic. And I think by not having emotional and social intelligence education at deep levels, people are going to struggle with character. When you struggle with character, you attack others more often. So I think the education system is one problem. We also don't teach civics classes anymore. I don't know if you remember what civics classes were. I don't know if you have them in your school or your kids do, but civics classes used to teach simple ideas of what it means to be a good citizen, a participative citizen, a collaborative human being who's open to other ideas and who believes that in, for example, the Western cultures, a democracy, or in other cultures that are more, collaborative, that, hey, let's be open to other people's views. Let's be thoughtful and patient and gracious as they seek to explain themselves or make their point of view, because not everyone is a creator or an influencer who's incredibly articulate and knows everything that they want. A lot of people, when they talk, you got to be patient and gracious with them because they're sounding out their ideas, looking for their own position. Today, everyone's supposed to have a ready-made position on every single situation. Every political upturn, we're all supposed to know, we're all supposed to be experts in foreign policy and experts in crypto and experts in social media and experts in building unicorns and experts in, in every area. And so people are coming with ready-made opinions where, at least in civics classes, it used to teach, hey, take a breather. Let's explore other perspectives before taking the position. In other words, let's have an informed opinion, not just a loud voice. Last but not least, I think it might be because we've lost a little bit of the foundations of a religious culture. Now, I know not everyone will agree with this, and this isn't about your belief or lack thereof. It's about some training we used to all get. There's a biblical phrase or verse that goes something like, the God is slow to anger and rich in love. And I always loved that because, if you hear that as a young person, like, hey, be slow to anger. Don't get so angry so quickly. Take a breather. You know what? If you're going to spread emotions in the world, make it rich in love. Spend your time coming from a place of love, not anger, and things can really change. Now, obviously, that spreads across all the traditions of all the major spirituality texts. Speak about whatever religious text or spiritual text you read, they all in some way do say that. Less anger, more love is a good thing. Less fear, more faith, good thing. Well, I think when you learn to realize that being impatient or quick to anger doesn't make you a gracious person with others, doesn't make you feel like you're in a state of graciousness, over and over you start to change your behavior. If it sounds like any of this is preaching to you, I'm here to share you. I ain't preaching. I grew up in a immediately angry, impatient, and oftentimes violent atmosphere. And all the way until my probably 25th birthday, I grew up in a fighting mentality, a defensive mentality. I had studied multiple traditions of martial arts and had, my black belt, and I had a lot of fights growing up. And I wish that someone pulled aside the young kid and said, hey, you really don't have to be this angry. You can learn to condition your emotions so you don't feel all this anxiety and stress bubble up and turn into impatience and rudeness towards others. I didn't know where it was coming from. And so, no judgment. I do urge you, though, maybe one day you'll make that decision. I did. I was in a bar fight somewhere in my mid-20s, protecting a friend. I hadn't started it. Just a friend got in trouble, and I'm good in that situation, so I handled it. And afterwards, I had some time to think about it, and I was like, I don't want to be in that position anymore. I don't want to be around people who get in fights like that. I don't want to be in that situation to have to defend like that. In fact, I just want to be around people who don't get in arguments and screaming fights often at all. I want to be around people who are gracious and polite and courteous and giving, who will always prefer to do the kind thing, the thing where the intention was respect and love and honor for others, where people give the benefit of doubt to others, where they seek to understand their view. Does all this make me old-fashioned and silly? Perhaps, but my job is to be here reporting to you from now 25 years of studying personal development. And in studying that personal development, to share with you it's pretty clear. The more you research, the more you look deeply, the more everybody's all been asking us to just be gracious people to one another. If you enjoyed this daily fire, all you got to do is be kind today and share growthday.com with somebody. Just send them to the website. That easy. Or go into your app and go into your settings and profile and check out the referral link. You can set up a referral link and send it out to friends and receive compensation for any new person you drive to Growth Day. If you don't care about the compensation, just share them about growthday.com. But if you like, you can get a referral link, and that referral link will track how many people you send to the app and if they purchase it from our website. If they do, we compensate you to say thanks. I think that is pretty dang polite. I hope you enjoyed this episode today, and I cheer you on. I know it's hard out there. I do know that there's a lot of hate and not good vibes. So you doing personal development today, listen, we're trying to elevate the consciousness of the conversation here. We're trying to get back to the roots of personal development, of psychology, of what we know from philosophy. There's generations and generations and literally thousands of years of recorded human history of people just asking one another to be good to one another. I hope you'll do that today, because every day is a good day to grow.